The rain was coming down in sheets as I drove back from the airport, the kind of weather that mirrored the storm brewing inside me. My name is Barnaby, and until a week ago I thought I had it all: a loving wife, a comfortable home in Asheville, North Carolina, and a fulfilling job as a landscape architect. I'm 46, and I'd always prided myself on being a good husband to Aurelia. We'd been married for 15 years, and while the spark wasn't always as bright as it once was, I believed we had a solid foundation built on trust and mutual respect. My trip to Chicago for a conference had been uneventful, filled with presentations on sustainable design and networking events. I'd even picked up a small, handcrafted bird feeder for Aurelia, knowing how much she loved watching the birds in our garden. It was tucked safely in my suitcase, a symbol of my affection and a reminder of the life I was eager to return to. As I pulled into our driveway, the house looked warm and inviting, the lights casting a soft glow through the rain-streaked windows. I unlocked the front door, calling out, "Honey, I'm home." The silence that followed was unsettling. Aurelia usually greeted me with a hug and a kiss, always excited to hear about my travels. I shrugged it off, figuring she was probably upstairs reading or working on one of her pottery projects. I set down my suitcase and walked into the kitchen, intending to surprise her with a cup of tea. That's when I saw it, a receipt lying on the counter, partially hidden under a stack of mail. It was from a local jewelry store, dated 2 days earlier. Curiosity piqued. I picked it up and read the description: diamond pendant necklace. Aurelia already had several necklaces and we hadn't discussed buying a new one. My heart started to pound in my chest. Who was this for? I went upstairs, my mind racing. I found Aurelia in our bedroom, sitting on the edge of the bed, looking pale and drawn. "Barnaby, you're back early," she said, her voice strained. "How was Chicago?" "It was fine," I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. "I saw a receipt downstairs, a diamond pendant." "What's that about?" Aurelia's eyes widened and she hesitated for a moment before answering. "Oh, that," she said, a forced smile on her face. "It's a gift for my sister Clotilda. Her birthday is next month and I wanted to get her something special." Clotilda's birthday was in 3 months and Aurelia had never been one for extravagant gifts. The lie was clumsy and transparent and it only fueled my suspicion. "Really?" I said, raising an eyebrow. "Because it seems like a pretty expensive gift for someone whose birthday is so far away." Aurelia shifted uncomfortably. "Well," she stammered, I saw it and thought she'd love it. Don't you trust me, Barnaby?" That question hung in the air between us, a heavy weight of unspoken doubts and fears. I wanted to trust her desperately, but something felt terribly wrong. "Of course I trust you," I said, but the words felt hollow, even to my own ears. Over the next few days, I couldn't shake the feeling that Aurelia was hiding something. She was distant and preoccupied, often lost in thought. She spent hours on her phone, whispering and giggling, and always seemed to cut the calls short when I entered the room. I tried to talk to her about it, but she brushed off my concerns, accusing me of being paranoid and insecure. One evening, while Aurelia was at her pottery class, I decided to do something I never thought I'd do. I went through her phone. I know it was a violation of her privacy, but I felt like I had no other choice. The truth was out there and I needed to know it, no matter how painful it might be. Her phone was password protected, but I knew her birthday, and after a few tries I managed to unlock it. My hands trembled as I scrolled through her messages, my heart pounding in my chest. It didn't take long to find what I was looking for: a series of texts with a contact saved as Grafton. The messages were explicit and intimate, filled with declarations of love and longing. Grafton was Aurelia's coworker at the local art gallery, a man I'd met a few times. He was charming and charismatic, but I'd never suspected anything between them. I read through the messages, each word a dagger twisting in my heart. They had been having an affair for months, meeting in secret, sharing intimate moments. The diamond pendant was for him, a token of her affection. The lies, the deceit, the betrayal, it was all there, laid bare in the cold, impersonal language of text messages. I felt sick, my stomach churning with a mixture of anger, sadness, and disbelief. How could she do this to me? How could she betray our marriage, our life together, so callously? I sank to the floor, the phone slipping from my grasp, tears streaming down my face. Aurelia came home later that night, oblivious to what I knew. I confronted her, throwing the phone at her feet and demanding an explanation. She initially denied everything, but when I read aloud some of the messages, she broke down, sobbing and begging for forgiveness. "I don't know what happened," she cried, her voice choked with emotion. "It just happened. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I still love you, Barnaby. Please give me another chance." Her words were meaningless to me. The trust was gone, shattered beyond repair. I couldn't look at her, couldn't bear to hear her voice. I told her to leave, to pack her bags and get out of my house. She pleaded with me, promising to end the affair and do whatever it took to win me back, but I was unmoved. "It's over, Aurelia," I said, my voice cold and hard. "I can't forgive you for this. I don't think I ever will." She left that night, taking with her a suitcase full of clothes and a heart full of secrets. I watched her drive away, the taillights of her car disappearing into the darkness, and I felt a profound sense of loss and emptiness. My life, as I knew it, was over. The next few months were a blur of lawyers, paperwork, and emotional turmoil. The divorce was messy and acrimonious, with Aurelia fighting for every penny. I didn't care about the money. I just wanted to be done with it, to put this chapter of my life behind me. I threw myself into my work, designing gardens and landscapes, finding solace in the beauty of nature. I spent hours tending to my own garden, planting flowers and vegetables, nurturing life in the face of so much death and destruction. One day I received a phone call from an unknown number. I hesitated before answering, but curiosity got the better of me. "Hello," I said. "Barnaby, it's Grafton's wife, Christabel," the voice on the other end said. "I know this is probably the last thing you want to hear, but I thought you should know the truth about Aurelia and Grafton." I listened in stunned silence as Christabel revealed a shocking secret. Aurelia and Grafton had been planning to leave their spouses and start a new life together. They had been secretly siphoning money from their joint accounts, preparing to run away to Costa Rica. But Grafton had had a change of heart, deciding to stay with his family and leaving Aurelia high and dry. "I'm so sorry, Barnaby," Christabel said, her voice filled with remorse. "I know this doesn't make things any better, but I wanted you to know that you weren't the only one who was betrayed. Grafton is a serial cheater." I thanked Christabel for her honesty and hung up the phone, reeling from the revelation. Aurelia hadn't just had an affair. She had been planning to abandon me completely, to steal my money and run off with another man. The depth of her betrayal was staggering. I decided to confront Aurelia one last time. I found her at a local bar, drowning her sorrows in cheap wine. She looked haggard and worn, a far cry from the vibrant woman I had once loved. "I know everything, Aurelia," I said, my voice cold and devoid of emotion. "I know about your plans with Grafton. I know you were going to steal my money and run away." Aurelia's face crumpled and she started to cry. "It's not like that, Barnaby," she sobbed. "Grafton manipulated me. He promised me a better life. You made your choices, Aurelia," I said, cutting her off. "And now you have to live with the consequences." I turned and walked away, leaving her alone in the bar, a broken and pathetic figure. I didn't feel any satisfaction or triumph, only a profound sense of sadness and disappointment. It's been 2 years since the divorce, and I've slowly started to rebuild my life. I've found a new sense of purpose in my work, creating beautiful and sustainable landscapes. I've reconnected with old friends and made new ones. I even started dating again, cautiously optimistic about the possibility of finding love again. I'll never forget the pain and betrayal that Aurelia inflicted on me, but I refuse to let it define me. I'm a survivor, a resilient soul who has emerged from the ashes of a broken marriage stronger and wiser. And I know deep down that someday I'll find someone who truly deserves my love and trust. I still think about Aurelia from time to time, wondering what became of her. I heard through the grapevine that Grafton left his wife anyway, and Aurelia ended up alone and penniless. Karma, I suppose, but I don't dwell on it. I'm too busy living my own life, creating my own happiness. And that, in the end, is the best revenge of all.